What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Aris, and on this channel I pretty much talk about some of the social and economic issues I've noticed while living here in the West as an African or as a third-party observer in a way. So that pretty much like you can all see things from a non-bipartisan way. There's no Democrats and there's no Republican in this I guess like video. I'm simply going to talk about what I've noticed, period. Okay, so the first topic that I wish to talk about is pretty much like something that is near and dear to me, and it is why is it that Republicans why is it that Africans and Black Americans do not get along so well? Now, most of this pretty much like in my opinion stems from the whole colonization era. Most African Americans, while I've been here, while observing them from the U.S., I've noticed that they have a strong distaste about Africans. Some of the excuses I've heard was that Africans were the ones who sold them into slavery. Africans hate them. Like pretty much like of course like we don't understand each other, little things like that. While on the African side, I can definitely say this with certainty, because it is the things that were taught to me growing up, which are that Black Americans are lazy, that pretty much like Black Americans were violent. They're like druggies and all those things, right? So, and it's very interesting that all this is actually being said on both sides. Whenever like if you see the history of how things actually happen, it's the beginning of television, right? I can see the African American side about like the fact that they were sold into slavery by Black people. However, fact of the matter is that when you talk slavery, it's a very extensive subject to talk about, because it didn't originate from Black people. I mean, Black people did participate in the trade, but they did not take it as far as I guess like the transatlantic slave traders did. Nor did they take it as far as how the Ottomans / the Arabs did it. You know, because as Africans, we did not sell our people to get their junk castrated like the Arabs did. We did not make it so that it was impossible for an individual to not win his freedom back. We did not tell them to pretty much like dehumanize. We never had our slaves, or rather slaves in Africa, were never dehumanized in a way that it was shown as like it was God's thing, like how the transatlantic slave traders did it, right? We did not take the rights of human, you being a human. We did not look at you as subhuman. All that came from transatlantic slave trade, and of course, like the I guess like the hurt that they've experienced since then does. I do agree. Like it was pretty messed up what the white people did to them, you know. And of course, like over time, you know, like the brainwashing did not just stop there. At the fact that the white people kept telling them that they were given off by God. I mean, they were God pretty much like put a stamp of approval into them being subhuman. Like it wasn't a Black Americans' belief, or nobody taught them that except the white people, right? The same thing came to the point where like when white people pretty much like put everybody who was Black, you know, like me, you and I, pretty much like as subhuman. It also just indicated that hey, everything that is Black is supposed to be subjugated, or is supposed to be looked down on, and all that stuff. They start peddling the same image towards African Americans, which showed like Africans only living in mud huts, and Africans only wearing leaves around their waist and all that stuff. Whenever in reality, Africans were like every time that Africa was starting to get out of their mud hut phases or whatever, and were decolonizing or industrializing, here came a white general like Leopold or de Gaulle or whoever the fuck from Europe or America would come in and just get rid of those leaders, so that we would progress, but we weren't progressing past Europe, given the fact that we had all the resources, right? So from the African American perspective, Africa was not a safe haven for them to go back to, and of course, like being scared or told by African Americans that them Africans don't really like you either, you know, like they sold y'all, they did all this. I can see why it convinced African Americans to like despise us. Now on the African side, I remember like pretty much like us being shown only a few. I guess like we only had a few channels on TV. And just like how African Americans saw Africa as being pretty much a desolate, uncultured, and very uncivilized place, we saw them, you know, because like they played both of us. You know, they played Africans, they played African Americans, they played Caribbeans, they played everyone. You know, so that we can all mistrust each other, and it showed Africans, you know, as like African Americans as the cause of the drug violence, the cause of pretty much like single motherhood, like pretty much like the laziness, like pretty much most beggars were African Americans, and it was pretty obvious that whenever they portrayed white people, you know, they were like the investors, the ones with the money, the ones that ran the world, the country, and blah blah blah. They were the superheroes and all that stuff on TV, while the African Americans were the criminals. Growing up with that kind of brainwashing in your mind, unless you had met an African American and like actually lived in this with them, or actually seen some sort of like accurate representation of who they were on their own channels, there was no way for Africans to know that African Americans were actually productive members of the American society, right? And so both sides were being played the entire time. Now the issue is that when both sides actually believes what the white narrative has painted about the other side, because at the end of the day, both needed to like pretty much like sit for a second and then realize like, hey, what is it that they were telling about us to the Africans or to the African Americans? Had both been able to like see that hey, the whole walking around with leaves around our waist was a lie, or the fact that we saw each like African Americans as cousins in Africa, like realizing that we didn't really like, there were only a few individuals, and I mean few, who hated the African Americans, especially coming to America. It painted a very interesting view on how Africans were, you know, like it definitely would have been a lot easier for both groups to get along, but we didn't control the media. We did not, and of course they wouldn't allow, you know, the media to be to portray both sides the right way. Especially had we seen African Americans being inventors and pretty much like generals in the military, or like part of the police force that were part of the good, a lot of Africans would have definitely liked more African Americans better. But like I said, due to the colonization and the fact that they do not want Africans and African Americans or Caribbeans and all those individuals to actually stop the division that they wish for us to participate in, because divided they can easily tell the story. But once all people of melanin with melanin were to unite, the story changes, and they'll never be able at least control us ever again. And of course, like with them not being able to control us, they will not be able to steal our resources. They will not be able to kill our people as they did, and wars would not be won by them so easily either, because we would simply unite, and we dominate most of the world. In every corner of the world, you definitely see a black person there. And that's one thing that they do not want you to realize, that they're the minority, and the fact that our genes were much better for this planet as far as like adaptability. This planet allows the black skin, and when it comes to ingenuity, this planet loves the black skin. We've been part of most inventions and most I guess ingenuity that has helped the globe move forward. And of course, they could not accept that. For once we start singing or telling them exactly what we want, they would have lost power overnight. And so, in my opinion, we need to definitely chill out with the whole hatred between melanated individuals. I understand that we're all different, but we're cousins. You know what I mean? Like we may have been separated for hundreds of years. Some of us were separated for thousands of years, and of course have lost some of our African type of oomph to us, but we're still cousins of the African plateau or African, I guess, background. So, yeah, this is pretty much my take on exactly what I've noticed as an African. Like it's gonna take us a bit more time to come together, but the moment we do start to understand each other and are able to show the other side who we truly are, we'll see that we're not really that different, So yeah, it's your boy Aris. I hope you like this video. This is simply a quick take on what I've noticed as far as the African and African American hatred among themselves, and some of the things that we can do to try to get along better. So I hope you enjoy this type of content. Like, share, subscribe, and come back on another day for another video. Okay, you have a good one now.